evening. We're back. Welcome back. We are on lesson number 4 today. We'll be studying lesson number 4. Of course, we are doing the 30-day mental diet. 30-day mental diet is to clear our thinking, get us back on track, cause us to know just who we are, and cause us to do constructive things. This lesson today is learn to think constructively. Of course, we're studying from the book titled 30-Day Mental Diet by Willis Kennard. If you don't have a copy of this book, you need to pick it up because we do this every year at Philadelphia Church. We're here at Philadelphia Church is located in Brooklyn, New York, 530 Eastern Parkway. And we tune up our minds at this time of the year, the Passover, just before the Passover season, and get ourselves ready to celebrate the Passover. Of course, if you didn't know before, I'm telling you now, Jesus is your Passover. Amen. He's our Passover, and we celebrate it every year. So we're going to get right back into lesson number 4. Now that you've come to the idea as to knowing who you are, where you are, and the importance of yourself, that question arises as to the nature and the creative activity of your mind. We want you to stay focused on who you are. You've ascertained that you are essentially mind, uh, consciousness, an intelligent thinker. And this is also the nature of the creative power. It's this same nature, that creative power in back of the universe. Pure thought in the mind of God, infinite intelligence. All of this is one and the only source of all things. Intelligent mind, that universal mind, is the main thing in the back of everything. Everything got started through that universal mind, the mind of God. I want you to remember that. Our thought patterns reflect the outcome of our lives. That mind, a thought in mind manifests itself. A thought in mind manifests itself. And as the physical universe in accord with the law and order of its own nature. I want to say that again. A thought in the mind manifests itself. And as the physical universe in accord with the law and order of our own nature. What am I saying? The one mind that is in the back of the universe is the same mind that you think through, the mind of God. I want you to understand that you have that mind of God in you, and that our thought patterns reflect the outcome of our lives. Thoughts have electrons and neutrons, and basically they're like trees. They create branches. Therefore, we want to keep away from toxic thoughts. Toxic thoughts affect our body, and not only do they affect our bodies, they are stored in cells of our bodies. And we need to keep that in mind. So we don't want to have toxic thoughts. We don't want to entertain toxic thoughts. Thoughts are electrical impulses, and all thoughts go through the same process. All thoughts go through the same process. Now, I want you to think carefully. This book goes on to say that similarly, in as much as your mind is an expression and activity of the one mind, it would stand to reason that it also is creative. You create with your mind, not on the cosmic level like the mind of God or the infinite the infinite mind, but you create in your own life and experiences. Your own thinking determines your experiences. That sounds surprising, except for those of us that know that already. But it is true. Your own thinking determines your own experiences. And in fact, thoughts become the conditions and the situations that you encounter in your daily living, in your life on a whole. The way you think sets up what you manifest in your life. If you find yourself prone to argue with this idea, if you can't grasp this idea or you have a question about it, relax because it's true. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. The time will come when you will prove for your own self that this is a valid truth. This is not a concept, it is a truth. In the meantime, accept it at face value. I want you to take it up and believe it. Take it and make it yours. Because you can't go wrong doing good, all right? That's a good thing. Thoughts are things. Think about that. Thoughts are things. Thoughts become your experience. The activity of life is constructive process. It's forever building things. Uh, that life itself is a constructive process. It's always building something. You're building things up, creating and organizing in a purposeful manner in accord with some design. The purpose and the design discernible in all that lives are not to be found in the commercial in the chemical elements, comprising of living things. These thoughts are very, very important, and you choose your thoughts. So I want you to understand that you can basically orchestrate your entire life because you create your life through your thoughts. Thoughts work in conjunction with your words. When you speak a thing or you decree a thing, it becomes effective in your life, it becomes real in your life. And I want you to know that. I want you to understand that because it's important that you know it, and so that you can put an experience. You can put a guard maybe against those things that you think, the thoughts that you select, and definitely the words that come out of your mouth because it's so important. The problem arises, however, is if if it is this nature of mind that is to become constructive, creative as a result of the process of thought, then we think how creative and beneficial are your creative thoughts? What kind of thoughts are you thinking? And how beneficial are the thoughts that you are thinking to you? You have to keep that in mind. How beneficial is it? It is a creative. Are they creative? Are they creative by nature? How about the constructive aspect? Do they construct? Do they build? Because we have to own up to this. We have to take responsibility for our thoughts and our words. By constructive is meant, is it beneficially created? Does it produce a better life and experience for you? Uh, this you have to ask yourself. This you have to understand, and you have to receive that in your own makeup. You have to receive that in your own life. You have to understand that it is important the extent that you think. and how you think. Extent thinking is over careful. Thinking is over carefully. I think it over carefully. I want you to think it over carefully. To what extent is your thinking positive or negative, constructive or destructive, beneficial or detrimental? In other words, just what are you doing to yourself? Because you are doing it to yourself. You're either doing something constructive, you're either building up yourself, or you're destroying yourself. So, as we take responsibility, I'd like us to make up in our minds that we are only going to think constructive thoughts. You're only going to entertain thoughts that will build and will benefit your own life and that of your family, your loved ones, those that are around you. Thinking can be harmful. Infinite mind could never think in a destructive manner or it would destroy itself. But you've been created to have a choice. You're a free thinker. You select your thoughts. You may think in any manner you want to. Any desire that you want to think, you can think. You can choose uplifting thoughts or you can choose destructive thoughts. Uh, it's really up to you. You may think in any manner or desire you so desire, either in accord with the nature of the constructive, beneficial thought of the universal mind, or destructively in any way you may care to. And man seems to have, the human being, man, seems to have thought up many unique patterns of negative thinking. I have a friend that used to say this. He used to say, Jeff, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. Well, what a thing to say. I reject that. It wasn't funny to me. I laughed at it at that time, but what a destructive thought that is. You're saying if it wasn't for bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all. Well, we are too advanced to believe in luck anyway. We know that we are our own, we create our own situations, that we depend on God and the Holy Spirit to get us through. We know that. But once you fully recognize and realize the creative nature of your thoughts, you will know that the consistent thought pattern of your thinking is what you are experiencing in your health, in your affairs, and in your relationship. The consistent pattern of your thinking is what you are experiencing. Like it or not, that's what happens. What do you want? What do you want life to be for you? Ask yourself that. What do you want life to be for you? What it becomes starts with the way you think. What your life becomes starts with the way you think. Just how costly are some of your thought patterns? Can you really afford them? One of the purposes of this mental diet is to get you to think in a constructive manner. That's one of that's one of the main reasons we do this. It's the main purpose of this mental diet is to get you started thinking in a constructive manner. We know this, but do we practice? Do we practice it year round, or does this come in as a reminder to us? Which it should. It should come in as a reminder to us. One of because if we remember this and we police our minds and we decide that listen, I'm going to take control of this. I'm going to actively approach this and cause myself to remember to think positively, to think constructively, to understand that I build my life and my surroundings according to constructive thinking, according to uh, positive thinking, of course, according to words that will uplift, words that will build me up. We want to do that. We want you to do that. We want to do that in a constructive way all the time. Okay? Uh, Clear, consistent, affirmative patterns of thought will be creative of a fuller and richer life. It is yours for the thinking and for carrying of the thought into action in your daily affairs. You can do this if you want to do this. If you resolve to yourself, make up your mind that you're going to be doing this, then you're going to do it and you're going to do it successfully. I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to think of it in a way where it is constructive to you. Physicians, psychologists, doctors, they all know these things, and the wise ones practice it. I wish I could say all of them do, but all of them don't. There are scientists like Sir James Jean. He wrote this. He says, we discover that the universe shows evidence of a designing or a controlling power that has something in common with our own individual minds. He's a scientist, and he says that we have something, that same mind of God that created the universe is the same mind that you have access to. You have the ability to think through that mind. You have the ability to sit down in quietness and confidence and tap that mind of God through meditation and prayer. You set aside 10, 15 minutes a day. Maybe you want to start out with 5 or 10 minutes. I'm telling you, when you sit in silence and you ask the hard questions, or you just sit in silence and ask that mind of God to think through your mind and allow you to think through his mind, believe me, you'll be successful and he will answer your requests. Plotinus is a philosopher. Plotinus. The thoughts, he wrote this, he says, the thoughts of the soul are not ideas, but creative powers. Thoughts of the soul are creative powers. The more the soul lives in the light of the spirit, turned towards that which is above itself, the more creative it becomes. That's deep. That's true. I'm going to read that again. The thought of the soul are not ideas, but creative powers. The more the soul lives in the light of the spirit. I told you 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, that we are created spirit beings. And that's who we are. We are spirit beings living in a body, and we have a soul. Now, this philosopher understands that it is our responsibility to bring our minds and our souls under the jurisdiction of our spirit, because that's who we are. And that one spirit is that one omniscient mind, that mind of God, if you will, that intelligence, universal intelligence. And when you link up with that, you bathe your soul in it, and you sit before it and tap the mind of the infinite being, well, you become unstoppable. In religion, it says this, for it is not yet, it says, for it is not us that speak, but the Spirit of our fathers which speak in us. That's it, Matthew 10:20. For it is not us, it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. That's very good, and it's very, very true. When we speak and we speak with the tongues of men, and we tap the mind of God, then what we're really coming out with is very deep information. And if you understand that you get this information from the mind of God, you're going to be better and better. It is good that this 30-day mental diet comes up at the end of every lesson with a word diet. And we're going to look at that word diet and we're going to read it together. Uh, it says here, for he, God, spake and it was done. The creative power of the conscious mind, of infinite mind of God is invisible. It's the invisible source of all that is. This same creative power resides in my thoughts, and I may consciously direct it to the degree I am aware of it. That's great. You can consciously direct your mind to the degree that you are aware of it. In other words, you can train your mind. You can groom your mind. You can intersect with the mind of God. You can think through his mind and you can ask him to think through your mind consciously. You can make an effort to do this every day to the degree that you improve and you get better at it and better at it until you're actually thinking through the omniscient mind. I speak my word and it is done. The words I speak, the thoughts I think, I know to be creative of my life and experience. In this knowledge rests my new-found key to a fuller enjoyment of all of life's abundant riches. My thought is always creative, and I now declare that my patterns of thinking will be constructive, of a constructive nature. I discard all tendencies to think in ways that may have been productive of undesirable experiences. Regardless of appearances, I entertain only ideas of good. I see fine health, abundance, abundant supply of all things, and harmonious activities and relationships. That's important because what you see and what you are expecting is what you're going to get. Your visions become manifested in your life. Dr. Jeffries used to say, what you think and what you visualize is outpictured or manifested in your life. So if you want a rich and powerful and productive, abundant life, think rich and powerful pictures. Think rich and powerful thoughts. Visualize them, speak them, decree them, and they will be pictured or manifested. In other words, you're basically taking a snapshot of your life according to your inner vision, according to the visions that you have. Uh, the creative nature of my thought now has only ideas of good to work on. I renew the content of my mind and thus renew the content of my experience of life. I stand guard at the gate of my mind. This is good. I stand guard at the gate of my mind and entertain only those ideas which I desire to have become tangibly manifested. God declares himself anew and goes forth into manifestation through every beneficial word that I speak. That's a decree. That's an affirmation. You're saying, I stand guard at the gateway of my mind. I guard my thoughts. I select my thoughts carefully and entertain only those which I desire to have become tangibly, tangibly manifested. You will only think the thoughts that you want output to. God declares himself anew and goes forth into manifestation through every beneficial word that you speak. You make the decision, you speak the word. As I now renew the content of my mind with only good and constructive ideas, I know that my entire life is remade to conform with the nature of these ideas. I want to let you know that this is we're closing out this session. This is the fourth day, and we're looking forward to seeing you on April 19th. April 19th at 5:30 Eastern Parkway at 5 p.m. begins the Grand Passover service. This is an event that gets bigger and more beautiful each and every year. We're looking to see you there at 5 p.m. April 19th. The 30-day mental diet ends right on Passover, and we go right in. We break our 10-day cleansing fast because we start the cleansing fast 10 days before the 19th, and our minds are clear, our bodies are clean, and we're ready for the Passover. This is all a preparation, if you will, to serve and to get ourselves in the frame of mind, mentally, spiritually, physically, in order to celebrate the Passover and reap the benefits that it has for us to gain. So I want you to stay in tune. If you like what you heard, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And anytime we're going on, you'll get a notice that we're on the air, and share it with a friend. These are great lessons, and we're going to go deeper and deeper, and we're going to be uh, discussing very fruitful and uplifting things. So avail yourself of it. See you next time on 30 Day Mental Life. God bless you. I want to have a word of prayer before we close. Eternal God and our Father, we're thankful for visiting with us and studying with us. We're asking you to cause us to remember that which we're working on. Help us to think constructive thoughts. We're asking you to teach us to use our minds and our inner visions to create the life that you have prepared for us, to create a better life, a life that we want to experience. These mercies we ask in the name of Jesus and consider our prayers answered. Amen and amen. Well, good night, and I'll see you next time. God bless.